6:51. Welcome back. On the line now, Joe McGinnis. He is the director of the Collinsville Area Vocational Program that Shannon Stelling and I have been talking about on our trade segments each and every month. One of the best in the area. 10 districts encompassing this, correct, Joe?
That is correct, CJ. Appreciate you taking the time and having us on today.
Oh, I'm excited. Every time we get to talk about the trades programs that are happening in different school districts, I think what you guys are doing in Collinsville is truly incredible. And before we talk to Spencer, who is our Trade Spotlight Student of the Month, can you fill me in a little bit more of the Collinsville Area Vocational Program and the day-to-day aspects of what this program gives the students?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are one of 25 area career centers in the state of Illinois. And the only one here in the Metro East area. We, like you said, have 10 districts that send us high school juniors and seniors for our 15 different programs that we offer. In between those 15 different programs, we have 540 seats available. And this past year, we had over 700 requests for those 540 seats. So these are highly competitive programs. The students want to be in these programs. And they're set up so that they give great real-world career experience. Most of our programs offer dual credit through Southwestern Illinois College. And the ones that do not offer that dual credit, we backload those with industry-recognized certifications.
Well, and on top of that, too, Joe, I think such an important aspect is it shows that the students really want to be a part of these programs. I mean, that number alone is just staggering. And have you noticed just from the time that, this has been really developing and you have all these students being a part of it, it's kind of got to show that, when you provide an opportunity that the students are interested in, that they're going to get some good work done and really gain some valuable information on it for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, we've seen, over the past 3-4 years here, the student interest has grown rapidly. It started to where we were, not even filling all of our seats to now where we're turning away hundreds of students a year. And obviously that's, a good thing for us to have that competitive nature. But also it's not a good thing when we are not able to help meet the workforce needs of our region. So thankfully this past year we were able to get a $25 million appropriation from the state of Illinois for us to expand our center. We'll be building a second facility located next to our campus, and that'll allow us to expand our program offerings, expand the number of seats up to around 800. And then at that time, we're also going to be looking for more districts to join on and send us students as well.
That's incredible. And before we talk to Spencer, Joe, can you fill me in on some of the things the students work on in these programs? I know that we were talking about automotive, and then there's students that are working on building a house or rebuilding one and updating it. Can you fill me in on some of the other projects that are incorporated into this wonderful program?
Yeah, so kind of rounding out our industrial offerings, we have welding courses, machining courses. We're only one of 6 programs in the state that still has auto body as an offering. And then we have, kind of some unique offerings too. We have cybersecurity, criminal justice, cosmetology. We have some health science options with a CNA program and a dental assisting program. And then we run our own preschool, actually. We have an early childhood class where we bring in 2 through 5-year-olds from the local community for the students to work with. And then we have a K-12 teacher prep program as well as a part of that. And then our new offering for next year, we're going to have a landscape management course and an urban agriculture course. That's
truly incredible. And when Shannon and I talk about your guys' program, I didn't realize how in-depth and involved it is. Is that because of the years that you guys have had to develop this, or did this all come together pretty quickly for what you guys are achieving?
It's a little bit of both. It's part of it's the kind of the mindset of what it is to be a career center. So we're looking at students that are older, juniors and seniors in high school that are obviously willing to be a little more serious. And then also the amount of time that the students have in the classes. We only run 2 classes a day. They're 2.5 hours long. So that leads to the depth right there is, we can go deeper into the subjects and the topics.
Right.
Students have more time to spend with us in class.
Really cool. And now, Joe, if you could fill me in on Spencer a bit and why we chose Spencer for the Trade Student of the Month. It seems like Spencer's been definitely putting the work in.
Yeah, Spencer's he's one of our rock star students. We have a couple students across the center that are able to be with us for our morning class and our afternoon class. Spencer is one of those students. And when I spoke with his building trades instructor and I said, hey, who's your top kid? Who do you want to nominate for this? It took him about a half a second. And he said, Spencer. And he really is in the building trades course. He's the go-to guy, whether it's doing electrical work, whether it's the fine carpentry of having the nuance to do some trim work and set cabinets. Spencer's been the go-to kid for that, to kind of be a project leader and show the other students how it can be done and how it's done right. And then he's also in our automotive mechanics class. So it just kind of goes to show the depth of his skill set, his knowledge, and his abilities.
100%, Joe. And Spencer, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Spencer, I just got to ask you, this love that you have for the vocational program and all that you're doing in automotive, and just talking a little bit about some of the other projects you're doing, has something in this field, in this industry, in terms of just vocational trade programs, is this something you've always been interested in as a young age, or is this something you kind of, fell in love with as you got older?
No, so I always been in a love of carpentry, and especially the trades work just to get my hands dirty on. But my grandpa really inspired me when I was in a very young age, because my parents were always full time, and I was always with my grandpa. My grandpa always was building something or anything, working on something. So I was always right there with him, and that's what inspired me the most, was him. So I was always into this trade work.
Well, and Spencer, on top of that, it's whenever you were able to get accepted into this, because it seems like there's a lot of students that are always, wanting these spots. How did it feel knowing that, hey, I am in part of this program, I got picked, I got accepted, and what was that feeling like, knowing that you're able to do something that you've been wanting to do for a while, and getting to get that school credit while you're doing it?
It was great to me, because ever since my brother was in school, I always wanted to do this trade work because he was in it too. So once I got picked, I was happy, because that's what I wanted to do, because of my brother. Really cool. And on top of your day-to-day life over there at the school, what does your education break down to? Are you strictly, like we talked about, automotive in the morning, and then we go into the other portion in the afternoon? What's your day-to-day breakdown look like while you're doing this? So I only have really two main classes that I really try in. That's hard, and that's first hour. That's world geography, and then I go into auto mechanics for 2.5 hours. Then I go into building trades 2 for 2.5 hours, and I have a 7th hour class.
Well, and that's what I think is incredible, because on top of what you're doing with the vocational programming, you also still have a couple of classes too. Take me through the camaraderie that you have with your classmates that are a part of this, because it seems like, Spencer, just because when I was in school and doing the RiverBend CEO program when it first started, it seems like when you have a bunch of kids and students that are in the program that really want to be there, it makes for a really fun learning environment. Is that the case?
Yes.
And what's some of the moments that you've been able to do and accomplish in this program that kind of stick with you? Any milestones or any fun building stories you want to share with us?
Oh yeah, while building this house, I knew the carpentry, but before I came in here, I really didn't like drywall. We did a lot of drywall. I really didn't have like a very good clue about that, or like a little bit of the framing that we did, a lot of electrical that we did that I really didn't know before I took this class. But when I was doing it and got my hands on it, I really got to know from the instructor how he taught me. It really gained my knowledge of how to build a house.
And have you been able to share some of what you've been working on with your family and getting their thoughts on it too?
Oh yes, yeah, they love it.
And Spencer, whenever I think about what you guys are doing, and you mentioned it too, just talking a little bit about your instructors, take me through some of the things that you have been able to learn. Is there an instructor of note that you'd like to mention and give a shout out to?
Yeah, especially the building trades instructor, Justin Can. he hired me for the summer when I was off of school for the summer. And once he hired me, and I really got to know him, and it was a great opportunity for me because it built my knowledge.
100%. And what are your plans outside of high school, Spencer? It seems like you pretty much have your mind set up, with what you're looking into. What's the goal? Are we going to think about maybe going to another 2-year school or vocational school after this, or are we going to go straight in the workforce?
So that's funny as you asked that, because a company actually came out to our house I was working at for the school, and his name is Joe Hutton. He's works for Miller and Mock. And he's based out here in Collinsville. And he actually came up to me, which was a surprise to me because I didn't know. And he asked me if I was looking for a job. And I was like, yeah, I could be at the time. And he came up to me and asked me questions. So basically, I guess it was an interview to me. And he came up to me and asked me some questions that he needed to know, and asked if I can work anytime. I was like, yeah, sure. And so he texted me one afternoon and said, hey, can you come work for me this one day? Because I was off of school, obviously. And he came up to me and asked if I wanted to work, and I said, yeah, sure. And so I worked him for a day, and he see how I was and how my abilities were. And at the end of that work day, he came up to me and says, how would you like to be for an apprentice carpenter? He'll put me through the union carpentry. And I was like, yeah, that would be great, because I always wanted to do that when I was at a young age. So he really inspired me.
That's truly amazing. And Joe, are you still there, sir?
I am.
How important is it for you to hear those testimonials? Because to me, Spencer, I didn't know where we were going to go with that question, but just hearing that, carpentry was something you were passionate about at a young age, and now to be able to be, kind of offered a spot that fits those needs. Joe, how important is it to hear those testimonials to keep the program going?
It's extremely important. That's obviously what we strive for every student. We want them to come in here, learn about a skill or a trade, and hopefully they want to, take off with it and make that a career. For Spencer's case here, it's the idea setup. It's a local in-town company that's been around since the early '80s. Union shop, so they're able to get him into the Carpenters Union. But another outcome that we also value too is if a student gets into one of our programs and they learn, hey, maybe this isn't for them, they've done it at an early age in a relatively safe environment to where they're not wasting a bunch of their time or their money, chasing down a trade school or a 4-year university to figure out that at the end of the day, they didn't want to do that as a career. So it's great when students find what they want, but we also really do value when students realize that, hey, maybe this isn't for me, and they try something else.
Well, that's a huge safety net that I never even thought of. That's a great point, because, you've time and time again, you and I can count on probably every extremity, and every hand and finger that we have in the county, and know that there's folks that do make that choice and go, man, that really wasn't for me. So to have that as a safety net is a huge incentive too. And Spencer, just getting back to you really briefly here, can you fill me in more on this house project? Because I think this is such a cool project and wanted to hear directly from you on this. Take me through what you're working on and some of the milestones that you've been able to achieve with the team on this project.
So once I first started last year, we were working on the framing was just up, and we were just got into the electrical, putting all the electrical in. So that was a big milestone, is putting all the electrical in, trying to figure out what lights work and how to see what outlets and switches to be put in. So that was a big milestone to get us done. And now we switched on to drywall, which was another big milestone, because that's a lot of work too. And now we are working on just the finishing touches of the house, putting the cabinets in. The cabinets are in that we put in. And now it's just the touch-up paint and the bathroom vanities and all the other light bulbs that have to go in, and the light fixtures. So that's what we're working on now.
Absolutely. And Spencer, before I let you go, I have one last question for you and Joe. And Joe, I'll start with you first, sir, on this. How important, it seems like there's an opportunity for students to kind of guide each other and work with each other on a more, I don't want to say intimate, but a more hands-on situation where you can really develop those crucial skills of communicating and really getting work done and streamlining processes. And with that, is that something that you're kind of seeing too, is seeing the communication skills and just that critical thinking component between students while these projects are going on?
Yeah, that's something that we've pushed for a long time as well too. You take this house that we're working on right now, but between upstairs and downstairs, it's about 2,200 square feet that's finished. We got 20 kids out there at a time and one instructor. That instructor can't be everywhere all at once.
Right.
So what we do is we team our second year students, our more knowledgeable students, and make them kind of team leads with another group of students. And there's a lot of trust, and there's a lot of emphasis put on the fact that, hey, you guys got to work together, be smart. If you don't know how to do something, stop, come find the instructor and ask. But we do put a lot of trust in the students that they use their critical thinking and that logic to make the right decision.
100%, and I just think that's such a huge portion of this, and something that I think a skill I thought was lacking at some of the other districts is just that working together and hands-on approach as a team. And I'm just glad to hear that's an invaluable aspect to me, Joe. And getting back to you, Spencer, as we're wrapping this up, and I always tell people 10 to 15, and here we are 20 minutes later. I'm sorry, I know that you got school. What's your message, Spencer, for any student that's interested in programs like this? And I know in Collinsville you guys have a hotbed and helping so many districts and incorporating them. For students that are interested, what's your takeaway message for them if they really have an interest to look into this?
This is especially what you need is the vocational side of it, because just like me, I didn't really know what I got into, and especially taking after this course, it really got my knowledge, built my knowledge of what needs to go in. So if you're looking for this type of trade or any type of trade, that especially take the vocational classes, because it really gains your knowledge.
100%. And Joe, Spencer, thank you so much for your time this morning. I know that both of you are really busy, and I'm really happy to highlight you, Spencer, as our Trade Student of the Month, powered by the Home Builders Remodelers Association of the Metro East. And Joe, I'm excited to talk more with you in April and throughout the next couple of months. If there's any news you can fill us in on from what you guys are doing with that wonderful vocational program. And Spencer, if you have any news on how everything's looking as a success story, which it sounds like you're on a great path for, you're more than welcome back to fill us in on some great news.
Awesome. We appreciate it, CJ.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both for your time. At 10:08, we'll take a brief pause, come back with our top of the hour news brief right after this in the heart of the 618.